Good evening, boys and girls. Let us
Yes,
start.
sir.
Remember, we have been learning about agriculture. Chapter 4 of your NCERT textbook of geography. Today we shall discuss about impact of globalization on Indian agriculture. Now I will present. So here is the topic: impact of globalization on agriculture. This is the last part of the chapter 4, agriculture. I think all of you might have learned the meaning of globalization in your economics classes. Do you have any idea about globalization? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, I will tell you. See, globalization means integrating the economy of the country with the world economy. So globalization is the merging of the economy of a country with the world economy. So under this globalization process, goods and services along with capital, labor and resources can be moved freely from one nation to another nation. So this is the meaning of globalization. And now let us see the trend of this globalization in India. See, as mentioned here, globalization is not a new phenomenon. This is not a new thing, okay? And see, it has been there since the time of this colonization. It was there. Globalization was there at the time of colonization. And in the 19th century, see here, in the 19th century, when European traders came to India, at that time too, Indian spices were exported to different countries of the world, and farmers of South India were encouraged to grow these crops. As I told you, under globalization process, things are moved from one country to another country freely. Okay, so globalization, as I told you, has been there since the colonial period. And in the 19th century, European traders came to India, and these Indian spices were exported to different countries of the world, and hence farmers of South India were encouraged to grow these spices. And till today, this growing of spices is one of the important items of export from India. Then let us proceed. See, during the British period, cotton belts of India attracted the British, and ultimately cotton was exported to Britain as a raw material for their textile industries. You know, which are the places where cotton are grown, you have learned earlier. So we have this Uttar Pradesh area, then Maharashtra, then Gujarat, Karnataka area. Okay, these are the important belts. Other also there. So during this British period, cotton belts of India were attracted by the British, and ultimately cotton was exported from India to Britain as a raw material for their textile industries. For their textile industry means for the textile industries in England. And cotton textile industry in Manchester and Liverpool flourished due to the availability of quality cotton from India. So these cotton textile industries in Manchester and Liverpool in England were flourished due to the availability of good quality cotton from India. So in this way, goods were raw material were moved freely, okay, from India to these European countries. And in history, you have read about the Champaran Movement. We started in 1917 in Bihar. So why was this movement there? This given here. This Champaran Movement was started because farmers of that region were forced to grow indigo on their land because it was necessary for the textile industries which were located in Britain. Okay, so in this way things were moved easily from India to England, and they were unable to grow food grains to sustain their families. So in 1917, actually in during the British time, these northern plains to India, including Bihar, okay, the farmers there were unable to grow food grains, say wheat, then rice, and others, okay, other food grains to sustain their families. British forced them to grow indigo, which was needed for the textile industries in England. So this is about this strain of globalization in the past. Okay, then what about now? So here the main theme is impact of globalization on agriculture. Now let us see what is the impact of globalization on the Indian agriculture. Okay, now in the present day India. So here in our book, this negative impact of globalization, okay, negative impact of globalization will be mainly discussed. It is starting from here. Under globalization, particularly after 1990, the farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. So after globalization process, particularly after 1990s, farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. Challenges here means problems, okay. Because of globalization, these farmers in India have been facing new problems. So what are those problems? Let us see. Despite being an important producer of rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, and spices, our agricultural products are not able to compete with the developed countries because of the highly subsidized agriculture in those countries. See, you know, we have learned earlier that, see, in the production of rice, then cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, spices, and the other agricultural products, okay, as India has been a leading say producer of these crops. Sometimes India ranks second, sometimes third, like that. So India has been an important producer of these crops like rice, cotton, rubber, tea, coffee, jute, spices. But in spite of this, India has not been able to compete. Okay, the farmers of India has not been able to compete with the developed countries. Okay, because of highly subsidized agriculture in those countries. So in those developed countries, agriculture is highly subsidized. That means, say, farmers in those developed countries, okay, say Western European countries and American countries, that have, okay, they got partial financial support from the public funds, okay, from the government. Then what happened in the case of India? Let us see. So farmers in these developed countries, okay, so they get this financial support from the government. Then what about India? Let us see. It is mentioned, okay, here. See here in the case of India, see, subsidy on fertilizer is decreased, leading to increase in the cost of production. What happened in the case of India? Subsidy on fertilizers is declined. There is no support, okay, or support of the government, okay, in supplying the fertilizer has been declining. And because of this, the cost of production of the crop is increased. Okay, when the subsidy is decreased, then the cost of production of the crop is increased. And if the production cost of the crop is increased, then they have to sell at the higher price. But they cannot sell the crops at the higher price in the international market, because in the international market, the farmers of the developed countries are selling their crops at a lower price. This is the main reason, okay. Then another important point, see, reduction in import duties on agricultural products have proved detrimental to agriculture in the country. Reduction in the import duties on agricultural product have proved detrimental, means harmful to agriculture in the country, means in India. See here, reduction in import duties implies that the merchants can import more agricultural products. Since taxes, okay, since duties here means taxes, the taxes levied when we import agricultural crops have been reduced. So it means that the merchants can import more agricultural products from other countries of the world. And when we import more agricultural products from other countries of the world, farmers in India are affected. Okay, so this is another impact of this globalization on the Indian agriculture. Any question about this section? Any question about the impact of globalization on Indian agriculture?
No, sir.
Okay, then let us proceed. And see, so what is the present scenario today? Indian agriculture finds itself at the crossroads. Okay, so we are getting a problem, and to make agriculture successful and profitable, proper trust should be given to the improvement of the condition of marginal and the small farmers. So, to make Indian agriculture a successful one and a profitable one, okay, proper trust means proper boost should be given, okay, to the improvement of the condition of these marginal and small farmers, that is poor farmers. So we must improve the condition of the poor farmers so that this Indian agriculture is a successful one. And say Green Revolution promised much. Okay, but we have learned that it was successful mainly in this agriculturally developed part of India, that is mainly in this Punjab, Haryana, Western UP, where irrigation is very intense. Okay, so but this Green Revolution promised much, but not successful throughout India. But today, okay, it's under controversies. This Green Revolution is under controversies. That is, it cannot cover the whole India, okay, and it is being alleged that it has caused land degradation due to overuse of chemicals, then drying aquifers, and vanishing biodiversity. So these are the environmental problems created by the Green Revolution. Last time we talked about Green Revolution, in that said there is intensive use of biochemicals, intensive use of this fertilizer, pesticide, insecticide, and irrigation is there. And so because of this overuse of chemicals, then there is land degradation, there is soil degradation, drying aquifers means drying of the groundwater, and vanishing biodiversity. Biodiversity has been lost in those regions. Okay, and because of these problems created by the Green Revolution, so here in the present day India and in the world, the key word, okay, the key word today is the Green Revolution. Okay, the key word today which may replace the Green Revolution is Green Revolution. And Green Revolution includes genetic engineering. Okay, and say what is this genetic engineering is also given here. Okay, genetic engineering is recognized as a powerful supplement in inventing new hybrid varieties of seeds. Then let us see, what do you mean by this Green Revolution? As I told you that this is the key word, okay, which may replace the Green Revolution. This Green Revolution. Then what is Green Revolution? So Green Revolution is the application of this biotechnology in food production. Okay, and it is of great potential to farmers as it provides them with disease-free planting materials and develops crops that resist pests and diseases, reducing this use of chemicals that harm the environment and the human health. This is about the Green Revolution. So Green Revolution means application of this biotechnology in food production. And one advantage is that this Green Revolution provide disease-free, okay, disease-free seeds of crops. And since these seeds are disease resistant, okay, so we need not to apply these pesticide and the insecticide to our crops, and hence this will not affect the environment, and it will not affect the human health, because we are not using these pesticide, insecticides. Okay, because since the the seeds are these disease resistant, pest resistant. So this is the main concept of this Green Revolution. And this one more technique or method related with this Green Revolution is the tissue culture. Okay, do you have any idea about tissue culture? Do you have any idea about tissue culture?
No, sir.
Okay, see, one photograph is also here. Okay, see, this photograph depicts about tissue culture of tick plants. Actually, tissue culture is the growth of tissues or cells in an artificial medium separate from the parent organism. So this tissue culture is typically facilitated via use of a liquid or the semi-solid or this solid growth medium. Okay, so tissue culture is the growth of tissues or cells, okay, of a plant in an artificial medium, okay, separate from the parent organism. So this is what we call tissue culture, and this is an example of tissue culture. And this one also, okay, very beneficial to agriculture, as it is also this disease resistant, pest resistant one. And see, now here is the question, okay, can you name any gene modified seed used vastly in India? Can you name any gene modified seed used vastly in India? Can you name a seed, okay, produced by this genetic engineering? Can you name any seed produced by genetic engineering? So that is the question. Any idea? One example as we find is about cotton. Okay, about cotton we have this genetically modified cotton known as BT cotton. Okay, BT cotton, this is an example. See, this BT cotton is a pest resistant cotton, okay, and is engineered with a gene from the bacteria known as this bacillus. The name of bacteria, okay, is this bacillus see. So this BT cotton, this pest resistant cotton, is engineered with a gene, okay, from the bacteria known as Bacillus thuringiensis or BT, okay, or this BT, the short form BT. So this is an example of this genetically modified seed grown in India. Okay, it is widely grown in India, in this Maharashtra, Gujarat, and other parts of India. Okay, then and let us proceed. So in fact, organic farmer, okay, is much in vogue today because it is practiced without factory made chemicals such as fertilizers and these pesticides. So in spite of instead of this green revolution, we better to promote this organic farming. Okay, since we have known that green revolution has created so many environmental degradation and harmful to human body because it uses lot of biochemical inputs. Okay, so organic farmer must be promoted because it is practiced without factory made chemicals. Organic farming is practiced without factory made chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticide, and hence it does not affect environment in a negative manner. Okay, then a few economists think that, so we are discussing about these problems related with this globalization. Okay, remember we are discussing the problems related with the globalization process. a few economists think that Indian farmers have a bleak future. Okay, there is no prospect if they continue growing food grains on the holdings that grow smaller and smaller as the population rises. So this one we have learned earlier that, see, fragmentation of land holding is there in India. Okay, say more than 50% of the farmers, okay, in India own this agricultural land less than 1 hectare of land. That means size of the land holding in India is small, very small, and since the size of land holding is small, it is not productive. Okay, this is that is not cost effective, and that is the point mentioned here. Population is growing up, size of the land holding is becoming smaller and smaller, and that is why, okay, the productivity of the crop has been declining, not improving. Okay, and India's rural population is about 833 million, that is in the 2011, which depends upon 250 million approximately hectares of agricultural land, an average less than half a hectare per person. This I have already told you. Okay, say India's rural population is 133 million according to 2011 census, and these more than this half of the population, okay, half of the farmers in India have an average size of land, okay, less than half of the hectare per person. That is the point mentioned here. Or we can say, as in some other books, you will find that more than 60% of the farmers in India have a land size, have a land holding less than half hectare. That means size of the land holding is very small. Okay, then so we have discussed so many problems. Okay, we have discussed so many problems of Indian agriculture. Then what is the alternative? So here is a question. Okay, actually it is taken out from your book. When farmers have been facing so many problems and land under agriculture is decreasing, can we think of alternative employment opportunities in the agriculture sector? So this is the question taken out from here, actually from your book. So I will tell you the area. See, when farmers have been facing so many problems are there, okay, in Indian agriculture, and the land under agriculture is decreasing. So land under agriculture has been occupied by this settlement and the other infrastructure. Can we think of alternative employment opportunities in the agriculture sector? So this is the question mentioned in your book, and so here is the answer. Here is the answer of the question. Okay, Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops. So this is the alternative. Okay, this is the alternative to solve the problem of this Indian agriculture. Indian farmers should diversify their cropping pattern from cereal to high value crop. We have to shift from the growing of this rice, wheat, millets to high value crop. So this is the first point. Okay, and this will increase incomes and reduce environmental degradation simultaneously. When we diversify, okay, the cropping pattern from cereals to high value crops, it will increase the income of the farmer, and it also will reduce the problems of environmental degradation simultaneously. Because, see, fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables, biodiesel crops. You know, biodiesel, actually this is a form of diesel fuel derived from plants or animals. Okay, like jatropha and jojoba need much less irrigation than rice or sugarcane. Why should we grow high value crops? Because fruits, medicinal herbs, so these are examples of these high value crops. Okay, fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables, biodiesel crops like jatropha and jojoba need much less irrigation than rice or sugarcane cultivation. This is the point in support of this statement. Okay, and India's diverse climate can be harnessed to grow a wide range of high value crops. You know, India is a big country, it has different landforms, and because of that we have diverse climate. Okay, so in some part of India, see, we have enough rainfall, heavy rainfalls. In some other part we have medium amount rainfall, we have less amount rainfall in other parts. Likewise, temperature is also different from one part of India to another part. Okay, and hence we can grow different types of these high value crops in different parts of India. Okay, so this is the answer of this question. When farmers have been facing so many problems and the land under agriculture is decreasing, can we think of alternative employment opportunities in the agriculture sector? Okay, the alternative is that we have to diversify the cropping pattern from cereal to high value crops. So this is the answer. However, somebody may be thinking about some more problems. Okay, see here. So this is a debate actually. Change in cropping pattern, for example, from cereals to high value crop will mean that India will have to import food because of crop diversification. Okay, say we have to grow these high value crops instead of these food grains. Then it implies that there will be shortage of food grain in India, and that is why we have to import food grains from other countries of the world. Okay, this is the problem pointed out. During 1960s, this would have been seen as a disaster. So during 1960s, this would have been seen as a disaster. In 1960s, okay, the government and people thought that this could have been a disaster. Okay, but if India imports cereal while exporting high value commodities, okay, it will be following successful economies like this Italy, Israel and Chile. See, but if India imports cereals, okay, while exporting high value commodities, it will be following successful economies like Italy, Israel and Chile. See, on the one hand we have to import cereals, on the other side we have to sell these high value commodities. Definitely we will get the profit. Okay, say we have examples of Italy, Israel and Chile, and there in those countries also it was successful. They have been exporting these high value crops and importing these food crops. Okay, so it can be done in India also. And see, these countries export farm products like these fruit, olive, then specialty seeds and wine, and import cereals. For example, Israel, you know, rainfall in Israel is very, very low also, but they have been this growing fruits. Okay, and again they are exporting fruit to other countries of the world and importing these cereals. And likewise these Italy also, then Chile also, they have been this growing this fruit, olive, then other specialty seeds. Okay, and import these cereals. So we have to think, okay, which one will be better, whether we should grow high value crops, okay, or whether we should proceed the same trend, okay, whether we should continue the same tradition or the same trend, that is the growing of these food grains, or whether we have to grow high value crops. We have to think about it. So a debate can be organized in this regard, whether the growing of high value crops will be beneficial to India, or shall we continue this India with the traditional crops like the growing of rice, wheat. Okay, which one will be better? We have to think. So any question from your side?
No, sir.
Okay, then this is the end of this chapter. Thank you very much for joining my class, and as usual, please leave your name in the WhatsApp group for the attendance. Thank you very much.